Hey guys, let's get a shave done today. I polished with a little Brasso top of my Karve. Now, if you followed my channel, you know I actually did that a while ago with some chrome polish. And I think the Brasso gave it kind of a brighter polish. It's not as yellow as it was with the chrome polish. And so maybe the Brasso is just, of course, more suited for brass. Anyway, I think it looks great. I might keep, of course that killed the patina, but I might just keep polishing that guy until I get it to a good place and then let the patina develop. You know, who knows? It's fun, play around with that kind of thing. The Nacet is going to go in it. It's already in it actually. This is empty. 262 is the number for today's shave for this blade. The first use today will be this. I showed you yesterday, Semogue limited edition, the Shave Nook 2018. And there were 180 made, and this is number 135. And it has the premium boar bristles from Semogue, and that is like the 830 and the 1305, which are great brushes, soft, easy splay. And this probably is thicker, wider, which means that we've got more bristles that we're dealing with here. And I think that the 830 and the 1305, I would enjoy some more bristles. And so maybe that's why this is a coveted limited edition brush from my understanding. I'm going to hit the Sherlock again from Chiseled Face. This is their new Silk Tallow base. And it worked well yesterday. Oh, the scent of Sherlock is just tremendous. I love it. And the lather, I had to rescue it. I tried to follow the directions, but I came at it. It says use a very wet brush. I came at it with a soaking, super wet brush. And so I got the superlative wrong. And so it was too wet to gather up enough soap to do the job. Now today I'm going to do kind of my method with it, my standard method, and we'll just see how that works out too. All right, let me get my face wet. Oh, let me show you before I forget the Nacet in the Karve here. There's the 3 dots that I've had on it kind of the whole time. In the top, you can see the glinting of the bend that the edge took during use number 225. I dropped the top cap. The blade stayed in the top cap, and I guess it must have just hit the floor just the wrong way. A few days ago I shaved with this razor with a C open comb, and it did well. Well, I just felt like doing the Karve again, but today it's obviously, you can tell it's an open comb, but there you can see that it's the D open comb up here in this corner. You can see the D. Now the E solid bar, which is kind of equivalent to the D open comb, that's a razor setting that I do not use in normal everyday life with a younger blade. It's too rough for me big time. The D I find very comfortable and enjoyable to use, but my skin takes a huge dip, and it's the same gap difference, you know, for each letter, but my skin tolerance just hits right after that D, and so I tried to use the E one time and it was not good. All right, throw some water on my face. I don't know, about 24 hours since my last shave. Not real sure. All right. This brush has been soaking for 15 minutes probably, so it's definitely had a chance. It hasn't had too many uses, which is why I did kind of the extra soak. Shake a lot of the water out as my usual custom. And let's do a 30-second load. 31 right there. The instructions here on the soap say a 40-second load with a very wet brush. I'm going to do a 30-second load with a lightly wet brush. About 10 more seconds. Loved the feel of this tallow base yesterday. Performance was good. It was extra slick. All right, so this is what the brush looks like. It's a very wet, slightly bubbly. Now we're going to bring in the Dollar Tree shave bowl. This is the Santa Fe. Royal Norfolk is the maker. Santa Fe is the collection, and obviously this is blue. So this is a display on this one when I did a test lather yesterday. Looked pretty good. And so I'm hoping that it generates a good lather for us today. Young boars can be lather killers. And this is definitely not bringing a lather up very quickly, that's for sure. Okay, now we're going to err on the side of overkill here. I'm going to go back to the puck. Let's load for another 20 seconds. We're going to start at 08, so we'll go to 28. It'll be a 50-second load. 7 more seconds. Okay, there's my 50-second load. Gather up all the... see, we're starting to change the consistency a little bit by increasing the soap. If you have a young boar and you're frustrated, I understand. It is kind of common. And many of the Semogues that I've used, if you just soak them for 30 minutes, an hour before the shave, it doesn't take very long before, 3 uses and they're ready to go, not giving you any more trouble. I had one that I didn't know that about, and it took 15, just normal uses with normal soaking. So even if you don't do kind of a longer soak before the use, it's not going to take too many shaves before you don't have to go back to the puck, for more soap between passes. If you have to do that early on in the boar's life, that is kind of normal for some boars. So don't sweat it. Keep going. This guy does have some tips that are split, maybe like 1/4 of an inch or so. So I know he's got a few uses in him. I'm gonna guess at 4 or 5. A little short handle, pretty handle. The coloring here, almost like a dark tortoise kind of coloring style. It is not as comfy as the typical Semogue handle that the 1305 has, the shape there, with the Semogue Owners Club as well. That is more comfortable. And that is just a few millimeters longer than this handle. Of course, this is resin, and most of the other Semogue handles are, the ones that I have at least, are the wooden variety. There we go. After just adding a teaspoon of water, it's really quite a slick, wet soap right now. So we'll see if I need to. Let's go ahead and add another teaspoon. We'll just see if the lather kind of is activated by that. That could make it a little too wet. And in a way, I'm okay with that, because I'll just go back and swirl for a few more times in the tub there, because I know I need about this quantity of lather. But every once in a while you'll run into one that kind of looks wet and soupy, but then you keep adding water to it and it activates somehow. It was dormant. Sometimes they just need a little bit more mixing than you think. They cream right up, that sort of thing. This lather's looking pretty good, actually. So the Semogue Owners Club shared a lot of measurements similar to this brush. The loft was maybe 2 to 4 millimeters higher on the SOC than this guy. The diameter seemed similar. The handle was similar, this guy being just a few millimeters shorter. But one of the big differences is the bristle that they chose for this one. This is the premium grade bristle, and the Semogue Owners Club has a special grade. Those are the top 2 grades of boar hair that Semogue offers. So they're both going to be great brushes, I think. This guy's not going to bloom quite as big as the Owners Club, which is renowned for its big bloom. Okay, I think it's actually coming together really nicely, and I think it's going to work well. Let's kind of pull it down here and lift up. That's very liquid, very fluid, collapses. So let's just mix just a little bit longer. All right. Yeah, I can feel that slickness. Water on my face before the shave starts. I don't really do a pre-shave routine other than that splash of water. Some people who marathon blades believe that prep is crucial, and it may very well be for them. I've got oily skin. Maybe it's less crucial for me. Wow, this brush feels great. This is nice, and it's going to get softer than this. It feels nice because there is some medium to slightly medium-high backbone, but the tips are very soft. I do feel some scrub, and so that the backbone of the bristles is keeping those tips, engaged, not letting them flop over. So there's kind of some scrubbiness to it. No prickle at all. No scratchiness, scritchiness, any of those. You have to watch it. If I just do this kind of motion, I'll have some lather fall off. And so because this is a really wet lather. Feels good on the face, and of course that Sherlock scent is all over. This is a performance, well-hydrated lather. So now let's spread it around. Just a light layer is what we need. All right, Nacet. It did a pretty good job shaving with the C open comb. So I thought I'd try the D just for fun. With all the options of the plates, this is my favorite plate, changeable, adjustable razor. And so if you take away all the razors I've used during austere August, where I've used the same setup, or if you take away the ones that I've had to use because at certain times in the Nacet's life, I've only been able to use one certain razor because of a geometry, requirement. Then by far, the Karve is the most popular razor that I have. Used him like 3 to 4 times more than the next, razor in the list. All right, man. Oh, that smell of Sherlock is so good. During that little half rinse, I'm feeling the slickness in my hands, on my face. Just very nice. Now we will plunge the brush down into the lather to kind of shove some of it up into the center of the brush to make for easier application. I'm not rolling in lather. I don't think I'm going to have a problem having enough lather for 4 passes. So it looks like maybe with this brush at least, loading does need to kind of be in the high numbers, you know. That's a 50-second load. We'll go ahead and move over to the cross grain type pattern. My cheeks are kind of a predictable from north to south kind of direction. So the cross grain is kind of a typical cross motion. Your face may not be that way, and so your cross grain on your cheeks might even be up and down, because you may have your hairs start at your mouth and head toward your earlobe, and so a cross grain could be from the top to bottom or from the bottom to the top. Of course, it's more common to have craziness go on in the neck area. Swirls and loops and direction changes and things like that. Comfortable shave. This is a good one. I mean, I don't really even recall any tugging. I mean, if it was just light and a little half rinse. Man, this feels crazy slick, silky slick. And there is a silk product in the soap base. It starts with an H. Silk hydrolysate. I may be pronouncing that right, I may not. While we're here, let's clean up the threading. All right. Excellent. Man. I mean, it is silky slick right now. It's very wet from the rinse. Feels great. It's a great luxury feeling. And I kind of think might even be a little bit better than some of the big names right now. The Declaration Grooming, you know, the Weinstrass. I'm sorry, the Weinstrass is a scent that they have. The Milk Steak is the new base from them. Barrister and Man has Excelsior. Kind of a new base. I think this might just have a silkier feel than those guys. Really a nice soap. And I've got it well hydrated. And I love this because it's many times when I hydrate soaps where I enjoy them, they're weaker than maybe how other people enjoy them. And so I think the perfumers will change the concentration of the soap so that it matches kind of the greater number of people. And I think the greater number of people are probably having a lather. It's a little more dry than I use, which means they use more soap per lather. If I use half as much soap, then that means half as much scent as well. But that doesn't impact me with this base. I am getting a very wonderful scent experience with this shave. And this is a very comfortable. How about that? You know, in fact, I did keep my E solid bar that I wasn't able to use for normal daily shaves. I kept it just for the marathon blades. The open combs just seem to kind of have a lighter feel with the Karves, and so I tend to gravitate toward them a little bit more than the solid bars. I still enjoy the solid bars. And, you know, open combs are not always more aggressive. Just because it's an open comb. Sure, the Karve D open comb that I'm using is more aggressive than slightly more aggressive than the D closed comb from Karve. You can compare that, but you can't look at this D and look at maybe the gap, and let's say the gap is 0.6, you know, and then you find another open comb out there, or even a solid bar that's 0.6. You cannot know for sure until you try them which one's going to be more aggressive, because there's so many more things about the geometry of the head other than the gap. The safety bar here could stick out more, which renders the blade in a more protected area, and so it'll give you a more mild shave. The safety bar could be more recessed, which really gives a lot more blade exposure and more blade feel. So there's a lot of variables there. All right, well, that is 3. And I'm going to take my hand, put a little lather as a touch-up after the 3rd pass. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction than I usually do. It's kind of my technique I found that gives me the best chance of getting those little tricky hairs right there cut. No irritation, nothing like that. Man, this lather feels good. Well, it beats the socks out of their old lather. Now, I did figure out that their old base, I used up, I'm a bowl latherer, and so that helps me to conserve soap. Face lathers often use 3 times as much soap as I do per shave. About half a gram of soap per shave is what I was using to get 4-pass lathers, you know. And that, with Chiseled Face's old base, was going to, I think, give me 11 months of daily shaves. I think that's really good for a $13 or $14 tub of soap. I think it's a great value. Now, I'm really curious about this base. If it comes anywhere near that, then I think this base is amazing. I'm really glad they came out with it. It looks like it does require a little bit more loading, but I'm going to play with it with some of my other brushes, and so I'll have some good comparison, because right now this is a young bore. Can't do a really good objective comparison with that. Need to get some older bores that are more tried and true, more settled in. Get some other badgers, some soft badgers, and some of the finest badgers that have a little bit more backbone, and just see how it works for them too. So yesterday, for my post-shave product, I put on some Aqua Velva 5-in-1 balm. Now that's some really effective stuff. It's got a very light scent that I believe, really sure that it has some vanilla in it. The vanilla at first seemed like it went well with the Sherlock. The Sherlock was definitely hanging around some more, and I'm really happy about that. But it didn't take me too long to realize that the vanilla had stepped in and kind of ruined the whole Sherlock vibe. I don't know which of the pieces of the notes that it squashed, but I just didn't really care for it. So, do something different today. Clubman Whiskey Woods. Figure this it's going to complement some of the notes that I've got with the Sherlock. Let's hope that's the case. Mainly just scent and alcohol. Not really one that's providing skin food and things like that. Almost no stinging. Got a good shave today. All right. We did end up using the full 2 teaspoons of water. This is how much lather we had left over. So, you know, I could probably get 1 or 2 passes out of that if I wanted to. But this is kind of the perfect amount of margin that I might like to have. It does look kind of bubbly a little bit in some places. But that does, oh yeah, look right here on the handle. But that does not translate into a light feeling lather. it is still creamy feeling, silky feeling for sure. All right, let's examine the lather. Pull out what's in the brush here as well. This is a very wet lather. As you can see, we don't have a whole lot of it, but it is slick. This may be, this right here may have had a little bit more water in it than what I shaved with. So maybe what was in the brush was a little wetter deep down inside there. But still, a lot of slickness going on. So I will say this is on the wet side of perfect. Still kind of in the perfect zone for me, but kind of on the wet side. And look at those bubbles. But very slick. Enjoyable for sure. Very nice. Kind of different. Not the same as a lot of the soaps out there. Comes the way the lather acts and things like that. Little squeezing here on the brush. A little shake out just to show you. So that's what the brush looks like after you give it a good shake. And then this is what he looks like after I stropped him on the towel. Nice open bloom. He's still pretty young, and so I really enjoy the way this brush is going. And that's why I went ahead and trusted him with this base that was kind of unproven, and I think he did a reasonable job. I think I'm going to put another brush that I've used a lot onto this soap in the upcoming days, and we'll see how it performs as well. See if it needs that same long load time, 50 seconds. 40 seconds was what they recommended was the load time when you had a very wet brush. On the side of the soap was the instruction, and so 50 isn't too far away from that. Oh man, such a good scent. Man, I love Sherlock. All right. Well, so there we go. 262. Get the little Nacet paper. And there's all the 50s, and then there's 61 right there. So we'll put a dot on there for today's shave. 262. And I believe the Whiskey Woods is working very well with the Sherlock. Good match. And here is the water beading off my shiny new polished head. Now it's not a mirror polish, but it's pretty shiny. So I am in love with this new base from Chiseled Face. If the only thing I could see that could stifle that would be if I were to learn that it doesn't last very long. A lot of people only get about 3 months out of this kind of a tub of soap, a 4-ounce tub like this. But those are the heavy loaders, and those are the face latherers that aren't as efficient with soap as I am. And so that makes sense when I'm able to get a year of use, when they're able to get 3 months, because I'm using a third as much soap usually, because I'm using the bowl. Able to conserve more, less is wasted. But if it were to last me just kind of a short time, I might be a little disappointed with it. But as long as it lasts me at my rate of use, 6 months, 5 months, I'd be happy. And then anything further than that, I would say that's a bonus. And so I'd say it's worth it. It's a luxurious, amazing soap base. Kind of akin to the silky feeling that I once got from Barrister's Reserve line of products there. And I think I like this one a little bit better than that. All right, man, good shave. And the D open comb plate was terrific. No issues, no irritation, no nicks, anything like that. The Nacet continues on Feels like it's going to make it to 300. Be cool if it made it to 365, wouldn't it? All right, time to put away my gear. So just to illustrate the patina aspect of this brass razor, this is the bead blasted finish, how it looked kind of coming from the factory, and then give it a couple of years of aging, because I haven't polished obviously underneath the top cap here. And then here is the polish, just a couple of simple hand polishes from a chrome polish as well as a brasso, just with a good clean rag. And so that is the kind of shiny you will get. And then there's the bead blasted finish with some patina. All right. Now this head left a little bit more of a shadow here than I might want. Hard to see, you know, extra length on some tips, but just a little bit more of a shadow. And so I might back down. Wouldn't it be interesting if just due to geometry, the C open comb performs better than the D open comb? Maybe that safety bar being just a hair closer, nice choice of words, being a little hair closer to the blade, flexes the skin in a certain way. Who knows? All the geometry there involved at the microscopic level. But yeah, very nice. All right, well, I've got all my stuff ready to go back to my office. I sure hope this has been a good video for you, that's helped you with some things, or given you some information. Man, I sure am enjoying this base. So at least we can get some good videos out there with this new base from Chiseled Face. Base from Chiseled Face. Time to go to sleep. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care.